Nixon had been feeling strange about himself lately. Since he was 18 years old, he has always had nightmares. I don't know what the dream mean, but they always cried when he woke up. This is weird, very strange. What's wrong with him? He also felt as if his body was being controlled. Sometimes he is not aware of what he has done. One time, a strange incident happened to him. A broom flew as he swung his hand. Sometimes, his hand let out a small fire when he was angry. The incident happened outside of his consciousness. He knows it is magic, but where can he get magic power? The class atmosphere is so busy that it does not pay attention to the calmness of Nixon, who sits in the corner of the classroom with his novel. Then, a group of students who were notorious for being naughty at the school approached him. "Hello, sir," said Allard as he snatched the novel that was held by Nixon. Allard is a student who is known to be very naughty at school. He and his group often annoy weak students. One of them is Nixon. Usually, if Allard bothered him, he would immediately leave her with a cold and sharp gaze. But this time it was different. Nixon seemed furious at Allard's attitude towards him, until finally Nixon got up from his seat and quickly he immediately returned to take the book that Allard had stolen. Allard was surprised and did not accept Nixon's courage in taking back the book he had stolen, because usually Nixon just stared at him and then left. "Oh, no you dare, loser," said Allard with disdain. "Did I ever say I'm afraid of you? Isn't that right? All this time I just keep quiet saying your ridiculous behavior. It doesn't mean me afraid," said Nixon calmly. "Wow, you have guts to know," said one of Allard's friends by pushing Nixon's shoulder roughly. Without them knowing it, Nixon's eyeballs turned red like flames. His face flushed red with anger and his two hands clenched so tightly that they let out small sweeps of fire. Instantly, the busy classroom atmosphere became tense and tense. Serpent won the kill. Her aura was completely different. Allard was blown away towards the front until the wall that bordered the class shattered from celestial. The screams of the students shouted back in the classroom and brought Nixon to his senses. He was very surprised. The student we saw were very surprised. He didn't realize what had happened just now.
What has happened? Where did the wall fall? What have I done? Nixon talked, looking around with a surprised expression, then took his bag and left the classroom. Nixon went to the back garden of the school and lay down on the lawn chair. Not long after, his eyes closed and went to dreamland. "Hi, Nixon. It's time for you to return to your world. Save this world from darkness. Save the incarnate people, bring peace. You are the role, only you can face it. I love you. I'm sorry I couldn't rescue and protect you. I really miss you." A husband and wife looked at Nixon with a sad face. His today was stretched and was surrounded by thick black smoke. Slowly his tears fell down her cheeks. Her blood rose and her feeling was chaotic. That dream again. Who exactly are they? And what is the meaning of his words? Save the world and the darkness, said Nixon breathlessly, wiping the tears on his cheeks, then left the park. When he got home, Nixon lay down on the bed staring at the ceiling of the room. He was pensive, thinking about what happened at school. How can he destroy the class barrier? He didn't even know what he had done. And why is he always having the same dream lately? Creepy dream. Nixon felt thirsty. He took drinking water on the next stand, but he exactly dropped the glass. He was surprised. Reflexively, his hand swung upwards and blasted the glass safe into the air. The glass floats into the air. It's the magic. But where does the magic come from? In a fake. He had never even studied Witchcraft. Today he was surprised several times. What happened to him? Nixon had to ask his grandmother about this. Nixon rushed out of the room and called his grandmother. Grandma! 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 Shouted Nixon while looking for his grandmother. What the matter, son? Grandma in the kitchen. Why are you streaming in the house? Said the grandmother sarcastically. Sorry, Grandma. There are many things I want to ask you. Then Nixon told all the events that happened at school, even the dreams that he always had lately. Then Nixon asked, Do you know anything? How do I have magic? And that dream, what is there a connection with my parents? If you know, tell me, and tell me where my parents are, Grandma, said Nixon softly. Grandma let out a harsh sigh. Then he gave Nixon a deep, sad look. Okay, Grandma will tell you because maybe it's about time you know. Actually, you are the descendant of the great and strongest magic in the wizarding world. Your parents are currently being looked up by the darkness, and only you can save them because only you can defeat the devil. You have tremendous power, you possess all elements of magic. Everything in the magic world you can master. When you were born, a war broke out in the place, and the darkness wanted to kill you. But your mother managed to escape from darkness. Then your mother entrusted you to me and told me to go to the human world because you were in danger. After that, your mother creates a portal to enter the human world. The next day, I went to get the wizarding world and saw all the village destroyed. Even there were only a few survivors. They said the darkness and them looked up in her place, including the king and queen. And only the rule can save them, and the rule is you. Your mother entrusted his to me. This is a spell to create a portal to the magical world. Go on soon, save them and your parents, bring peace to the wizarding world. Explained the grandmother and gave a letter containing a spell.
Nixon saw the letter and began to cast a spell, and suddenly a white light appeared before him. Go, kid, until there you will meet a grandfather, and he will teach you and help you control your power and elements. Good luck, said the grandmother with teary eyes. Fine, Grandma. Thank you for taking care of me all this time. Take care of my health, and I promise to come back here after saving my parents. Nixon hugged Grandma tightly. Then he walked closer to the light and stretched his hand inside. Suddenly, his body seemed to be drifting away and his head felt dizzy and a little nauseous. Nixon woke up from his sleep, then looked around, which was dominated by a bamboo. Looks like he was in a hut. An old man came with a cup of water and some food. Get up, drink and eat this. After this, I wait for you outside, said the grandpa, and put the cups and food in front of Nixon, and immediately rushed out. After that, Nixon rushed out after his grandfather and approached his grandfather. Come here, I will teach you material art and control your elements. And this, you study the spells in this book. This is a spell book that can only be owned by princes and princesses. Explained Grandpa by giving the spell book. Nixon took it and put the book in the pocket of the pants he was wearing, because the book is very small. Nixon has mastered several movements. He is indeed fast at memorizing movements. Don't feel the day begin tonight. And Grandpa indeed training for the day. 3 months have passed. The all material art move he has mastered. He has become a great magician. All spells are already in his head. His aura is very different, like having great strength. That's because he is a descendant of the greatest magician in the wizarding world. Alright, now is the time for me to open your element's seal. Close your eyes and concentrate, the grandfather ordered.
Nixon obeying grandfather's orders. He closed his eyes while sitting up. Then Grandpa started chanting the incantation, and suddenly a white light dawned on Nixon. Her closed eyes were now wide open. His eyeballs changed colors, sometimes black, red, blue, green, and many other colors. It indicates that all elements are present in him, and the atmosphere around is very tense. Strong storms, cloudy skies, heavy rain, and shaking ground witness the emergence of great power in Nixon. And then Nixon lay unconscious. Shortly thereafter, Nixon woke up. During this disposition will restore your body to its original condition. Immediately go to the darkness palace. Save your parents and other people. Be careful because the darkness is not easy to beat, explained the grandfather and Hook Nixon. Fine, Grandpa. Thank you for teaching me and taking care of me until now. I'm sure I can beat the darkness and save my parents, said Nixon determinedly and returned the hook of Grandpa. After that, Nixon hurriedly prepared his equipment to go to the darkness palace and say goodbye to Grandpa. Before leaving, Grandpa gave a straight weapon. Grandpa said that this weapon was a rare and powerful weapon. Nixon walked deeper into the forest. The birds shouted, accompanying Nixon's journey from the deserted forest. The sun had set, replaced by the brightness of the moon. Nixon arrived at the Palace of the Darkness, which according to Nixon was very scary. The palace was surrounded by black smoke and buildings that looked creepy. Nixon walked into the palace, and suddenly Nixon's body was twisted by the roots of thorny black tears. Nixon groaned in pain then. He began to chant and the roots of the tree fell from his body. "Oh, the darkness! Come on! I will bring it to you today," shouted Nixon after arriving inside the palace. He raised his gaze to find the darkness, and finally the soldier came out and immediately attacked Nixon. He quickly dodged attack after attack. There were a lot of them, while Nixon was alone. But Nixon still beat them one by one, not waiting to waste any time. Nixon stomped his feet and they were instantly thrown away. Then he took out the ice element and attacked them. All of the soldiers' bodies were frozen and BRAM! Their bodies were smashed into pieces of ice. Nixon whipped his sweat. "This is just a warm-up. I just killed the soldiers." "No, with the darkness," thought Nixon. Soon a fighter throughout the palace. Nixon looked around the palace and found darkness standing behind Nixon with the other soldiers. "Ha ha 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 ha. So, this is the man who will kill me? You are too confident, kid. The darkness will never die," said the darkness arrogantly. "Tch, you're too confident. You can see today is the day of your death," said Nixon excitedly. All right, let's fight me. A handsome young man. Ha 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 ha. Nixon was getting emotional. His hands were tightly clenched. His eyeball turned blood red. Immediately he took out a large fireball and attacked darkness. But the attack was avoided. Firstly, the fireball got bigger and attacked again. Nixon took his bow and drew the bow as if he had drawn an arrow, and his arrow hit the darkness right at the left side of the chest, black blood gushing out from his body. Because the arrows Nixon used were not ordinary arrows, the darkness was furious and started attacking Nixon with her strength. Nixon emitted water and wine elements, his eyeball changing to a navy blue color. The darkness continued to attack Nixon with his strength relentlessly, and Nixon quickly related by releasing fire elements with unstable emotion and leaving Nixon feeling exhausted. Suddenly, Nixon lost his concentration. He heard a woman calling his name. "Nixon! Nixon!" Nixon spared his guess, and he just remembered that he could find a bat who was telepathy him.
The darkness saw Nixon was confused, giving the darkness an opportunity to attack Nixon. The darkness let out large black smoke and attacked Nixon. Nixon was blown away and coughed out blood. He was limp helpless. It tried to rise slowly, and the attacks were thrown back at Nixon. Blood come out again in Nixon's mouth. Ha ha ha. That's all you can do, young man. Don't expect you to beat me. Just save your parents, the darkness said, and let out smoke and saw Nixon. Nixon started staring at his parents. Mom, Dad, sorry. Well, I didn't. I called 5 times. Nixon softly whispered, and continues flowing tears and coughing up blood. Nixon release. You can beat him. Focus and look for weakness in the darkness. Put all your strength and control your emotion. You can do it. Please save us. I miss you, my son. I want to hug you, said Miss Nixon. As if he had support, Nixon got up and started to close his eyes and stare at the darkness with catching fire. Nixon took out all of his element, then cast a spell and stared closely at the darkness. Okay, I already know his weakness, thought Nixon, smiling lopsidedly. Nixon's elemental power grew, and the place began to collapse, revealing a dark night sky accompanied by a bright and round full moon. The sky and the moon witnessed the battle this time. Nixon continued to chant, and his hands seemed to create a batch of all the elements. The darkness only looked at Nixon lightly. He just wanted to know what Nixon will do. Get ready for the darkness to your death, said Nixon determinedly. And immediately, his back saw a pair of large black wings, and his body began to enlarge to match the darkness. The darkness stared in surprise. Nixon turned into a demon. The darkness was still in shock. Nixon took the opportunity to attack. The group of elements turned into a very bright light. The darkness showed, and Nixon charged straight at the A, and door. A loud explosion echoed through the place. The place was leveled to the ground, and the darkness vanished and was replaced with black smoke, and all the bones of magic were haunted, including with Nixon's parents and another people. Finally, this war has ended. Nixon sing and Nixon walked over to his parents with tear eyes and shaky walk. Her mother had been crying all this time and immediately hugged her beloved child. Mom, Daddy, Nixon returned the embrace of his mother and father, and immediately Nixon's body collapsed slowly. Nixon's eyes opened. He was lying on a comfortable and rich mattress. The first time she saw is her mother's face, which was beautiful like a god's. Thanks God, you have really shown, said Miss Nixon, and hugging him. What happened to me? And where are you? We are, Mom, asked Nixon. You faint after the war broke out. You were just exhausted because your strength was all drained. And we are in the palace there. Your palace. Miss Nixon's smile grew. You mean my place? Nixon looked at his mother in surprise. Yes, son. Tomorrow you'll be appointed as the king of the Emerald Place. Never mind. Don't talk too much. You just ignite consciousness. The next day, the palace was very busy with residents and the minister of the kingdom. Nixon stood on the throne with his father and mother. This withering world has been freed from the Dark Lord. It is thanks to my son. Nixon, from now on, I announce that my son will be the successor of the king in the Emerald Place. And then the minister of the kingdom approached Nixon with a very beautiful and handsome royal crown. The sound of applause echoed throughout the palace. Okay, please enjoy the dish that have been prepared. I hope you like it.
Nixon's father approached Nixon and hugged him tightly, as did the Queen. "Thank you, my son, for saving the wizarding world and saving us both. We are proud of you. I hope you can become a wizard king and live happily. You are a great child," said Nixon's father, and hugging his son and wife. "No, Dad, no, Mom. I should be grateful to you for giving birth to me and giving me such strong power. I'm the successor of a great magician in the world of magic," said Nixon, hugging his parents back, and they laughed together.